Can you please tell us your name, what you do here at St. Mary's, and how long you have worked here?
Sure. My name is Don Callison. I'm also known as Deacon Don or the Reverend Don, but I also answer to hey you, Dan, Dave, or anything remotely close to my name. I am a vocational deacon here at St. Mary's. Vocational deacon is its own distinct order, and my primary responsibility is to assist in the assist Reverend Robin in liturgy. But I also work with all the parishioners in their various ministries to see how I can support, encourage, inspire, and also just to get to witness the awe of all the things that we do here at St. Mary's. I've been attending St. Mary's for nearly 20 years. I've been ordained since 2015 and have been assigned here that entire time. So this is my home parish, and I'm blessed to serve here.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you do outside of St. Mary's?
Yeah, because I'm a vocational deacon, basically my time here is on a voluntary basis, so I do have a secular job that provides income for me, and that job is at the Veterans Home up in Yountville. My position right now is I'm a research analyst, and I work in our water treatment department. We actually have a reservoir and water treatment plant. And my primary responsibility is to make sure that we're in compliance with all the regulations and laws that affect water treatment, but also I do project management for maintenance items, any kind of things that need to occur to our dam and reservoir or to our water treatment plant. So that's my full-time job. I've been doing that for a little over 2 years now, and prior to that, I was a budget analyst there for 6 years, where I managed a budget that exceeded $100 million to run the home.
Where did you grow up?
I was born and raised in Los Gatos, California, so I spent my youth in Los Gatos, attended Los Gatos High School, graduated from there, and then shortly thereafter, I joined the Navy. I went into the Navy. Spent 4 years in the Navy, and then when I got out, I went to college at San Jose State University, so I spent a lot of time in San Jose. So probably the first 30 years of my life, I was in the South Bay.
What brought you to Napa?
Well, that's an interesting story. A lot of different reasons. Job opportunities brought me to Napa. I started out in American Canyon for a long time, and then eventually ended up in Napa, and then different relationships brought me to Napa, friends, and then eventually meeting my wife who lived here, and we have a home here in Napa, so it's a wonderful community. I love it here.
What are some of the activities that you like to do in your spare time?
In my spare time, well, I love to play golf. It's not always very kind to me, but I still love the sport. I do play a little bit of guitar, and I used to do a lot of photography back in my youth, and it's something that I'm picking up again. I just purchased a new camera and have some equipment for it, so something I'm going to get into. And I like to do nature photography, landscape, scenery, wildlife, that kind of thing.
Are there any community organizations that you are involved with?
Well, probably, I don't know, not directly where I could say I'm a member, but through St. Mary's, we're very active in COAD, which is a community organization here in Napa. Through the Interfaith Council, I stay connected to that through Reverend Robin, but also Reverend Susan Napoleano, who's the deacon up in Calistoga. And just, I've made acquaintances with various people in the community, so they know what I do, and I know what they do, so we try and support each other any way we can. So, for instance, I've gotten to know some of the local police department. I know some of the firefighters locally. I know some of the heads of different nonprofit organizations. So, through that networking, I'd say that's my involvement.
What about you would surprise people?
What about me that would surprise people? Well, as I mentioned, I was in the Navy prior, and I think maybe what would surprise people is I served on 2 aircraft carriers, worked at the flight deck on 2 different cruises, worked on A6 aircraft, and I've crossed the equator a couple of times, and that's a whole ceremony that if you've done it, you know what I'm talking about, and if you haven't, I'll tell you about it when I can. So I don't know if that would surprise people, but it's probably something a lot of people don't know about me.
Have you always been an Episcopalian?
I have not. Growing up, I was baptized Catholic as an infant, and I was a typical C&E, or Christmas and Easter attendee with my family. We would go to church on Christmas and Easter. When I got into my teen years, I attended a Baptist church with my best friend, and the reason that I attended was because my best friend and his family attended. They had a basketball team and they had a youth group, and so I was attracted to both of those. So in order to be a part of the youth group and in order to be a part of the basketball team, I also had to attend the church. So I did that for probably about 3 years until I graduated, and then basically as my friend moved away to go to college and I started doing my own thing, that part of my life sort of faded away as well. So I was really not a regular attendee of church for most of my life, and then when I got into my late 40s, early 50s, there was something about me I knew I was missing, and I didn't know what it was. So I started seeking, something more fulfilling in my life, and church seemed to be the answer. So I tried a lot of different denominations. And it wasn't until I got to St. Mary's where I really felt like this was my home, like this is where the Holy Spirit wanted me. So I've been here, attending here, probably since the mid-90s, but regularly attendee probably last maybe 20 years or so.
What are some of the things that you've done in the past at St. Mary's, maybe before you became our deacon?
Yeah, I did a lot of different things. I was a prayer minister. When we can gather in this space, we have a Mary altar that where folks can come and have prayers of healing, or pretty much prayers of anything. So I did that. I've been a Eucharistic minister here. I've been a lector, and then also I got involved in some different ministries, Cursillo being one of them. And then also youth ministry. When Father Cliff was the assistant here, he invited me to join him as he ministered to youth. And I really found that I enjoyed that ministry. I have a passion for it, and I have a lot of fun doing it. So I've been doing that, and that ministry has carried on for me all throughout through my time here, including after ordination. I've stayed involved with our youth here. The other thing that I've been involved with is Kairos ministry, which is built on the Cursillo model, but it's done inside prisons and jails. I happen to serve in San Quentin when we can go in there. Due to the pandemic right now, nobody's allowed to go in from the outside, so we haven't been able to do it for a long time. But so those are some of the things I'm involved in here. Rob Seamus and I have been doing a Taizé ministry here for many years, and if you're familiar with Taizé, it's a monastic prayer service that was developed in France, and we usually have a service during Advent and during Palm Sunday or during Lent sometime. We couldn't do it this year, obviously, because of the pandemic, but it's a beautiful service in which the church is darkened except for candlelight, and we have music playing softly that are performed by our own parishioners on acoustic guitar, flute, piano, and it's a wonderful service. So Rob and I have been doing that for a long time, and there's probably a lot of other things that I've had some touch on, but I take too long to name them all.
Is there any particular event at St. Mary's? I know we aren't doing many right now, but when outside of COVID times, is there an event or fundraiser or some other thing that stands out in your mind here at St. Mary's?
Let's see, event. Well, I love it no matter when we gather, however we gather or where we gather. It's just fun to have that fellowship and just have this sort of party atmosphere, and you get to know people that you would not normally get to spend that much time with during a church service. So any of the fundraising events we do, whether that's here at the church or some of the offsite places we've gone to, my favorite all-time event, and I call it an event because it is for me, is our candlelight Christmas Eve service. That's just something very special to me. When we do Silent Night, the church is darkened except for the candles that our parishioners are holding. And this last, just a few nights ago, when we did a Christmas Eve service, we replicated that the best we could. So it was still very special, but it's just more special when everybody's gathered. I I love, one of the events is the annual Sierra Service Project mission trip that we get to take your youth with us on to various places that Sierra Service Project works in those communities. That is a week-long experience where it's wonderful that I get to spend time with your youth, getting to know them better, watching them develop into the adults they're going to be, and just see how they interact with kids their age or other adults as well. It's just that's an event, and that's wonderful to me as well.
Is there anything else that you would like to share with us?
I would just say that it's certainly been my blessing, my honor. I'm humbled to serve here as the deacon. I just see so many wonderful things that people do on smaller scales, on larger scales. I just feel so blessed to be a part of this congregation, and I just every day that I get to come here and worship with Robin and our tech team, even though we can't have everybody here, I can still feel your presence. So it's just been wonderful to be a part of this parish, to be a part of the ministry that I'm serving in, and I just look forward to the day that we can get rid of that last 6 feet and take off our masks and just be together again.
Well, thank you so much for your time today, and we really are truly blessed to have you here.
Pleasure. Thank you very much.